Okay, been really trying to figure out how to make this video. There's been some accusations that the player voice isn't doing anything, and that really bothered me. Right, I'm always been an advocate for the voice on this channel, and that really bothered me. I couldn't understand. Well, why would people say that, knowing what the voice does? And then it kind of dawned on me that's probably the issue. People don't know how the voice works, what it does. It's been a while, right? It's been a while. The game was in a really, really dark state when the voice was formed. So people were in touch. They were paying a lot of attention, but time has went by and maybe we're not paying as much attention. And so we don't really understand how things work. So I'm just going to give you my perspective of how things go. Hopefully that can make it easier for individuals to figure out how to make the game better. So we know that there's a leadership perspective to the player's voice. There are 5 members that they announced recently, right? You go look it up on the announcements there for their regular leadership positions. Those positions probably will, I don't think they change. Those don't change, they're permanent. There's also 5 positions that rotate, right? So we have 5 that are public facing, permanent, don't rotate. And there's 5 positions that rotate where you and I as a community can vote for those individuals and they get to be on a leadership for a period of time. Those have the face-to-face meetings with Scopely. Now, I think that that's an amazing thing, right? So why do we keep those saying 5 and 5? Because the way the player's voice is set up, they look at 5 different spending brackets of players, right? So free to play. There's people that are representing the free to play community, light spenders, mid-tier spenders, and then terms that perhaps you've seen a lot in discussions around Marvel Strike Force, individuals that would be whales and krakens for the other 2 spots. Okay. So you have 5 people that are public facing, maybe they're well known, and then you have 5 that are just regular people, right? Maybe they're not the most prolific at writing Reddit posts, they're not content creators, right? You don't see them, they're not known members of the game, but if an individual is passionate, they like the game, they have something positive to contribute, fill out that application. Fill out that application, and when the voting starts, make sure that you vote for somebody. Right? That's amazing that we even have this opportunity as players to be part of this. Think about that for a minute. Scopely didn't have to agree to that, but they did. Right? There's a lot of games out there that have 0 representation from the community at all. Marvel Strike Force does. So take advantage of it. This is one way to speak directly with Scopely. Now we know, though, that's only 10 people. That's only 10 people. So can those 10 really bring to life all the concerns of the community as a whole? No, it's unreasonable to think that. So then how can we as the regular folks in the community make our voice heard? Well, instead of waiting for them to try to search around to find us, right? You got to look at who knows how many YouTube videos, there's Twitch streams, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, right? There's tons of spots to find information. So instead of waiting for them to come to you, then you bring the information to them at the Player Voice Discord. All right. Scopely's going to look there too. If we're being honest, they're going to take a look. They're going to look at the main Marvel Strike Force Discord and they look at the Player Voice Discord. So make sure you bring information there. If all you can do is show up once, twice a week, something like that, and just answer one of the questions in the small surveys they have, the small polls, that's great. Maybe it just says, what's your favorite game mode? What's your least favorite game mode? What bottlenecks are you running into? Just answer it. Just answer the one question. If that's all you can do, that data is continuously compiled and it's easy to find. It's easy for them to give to Scopely, right? Maybe you came a couple weeks in a row and it's like, well, it's the same question. They asked me what my favorite game mode was last time. Well, obviously they're compiling the data. They want to see the pattern. If something changes, why did it change? Great opportunity for discussion, right? Great opportunity for discussion. So if you have time, be part of that discussion. Maybe they're talking about it in the lobby, or maybe there's a specific Discord thread to talk more about that. Let your voice be heard. Talk about it, but be specific, right? It's okay to be critical. If you have something critical to say, it's okay, but make sure you're specific. and articulate. Don't just use a lot of not safe for work language. Talk about your situation, what level you are, what your alliance is like, why you're experiencing the problem. The more detail you can give, the more information uh, can be used, right? If you do indeed have more time, take advantage of some of the other Discord threads you see there, right? Some of them, the more popular ones, have to do with maybe the character in general. There's a character that's released. How do you feel about that character? How's their kit? How do they work with their team? Do they not work? Are they plug and play? What makes them that way? Again, be specific. Talk about how you're using them, how you thought you were supposed to use them, and maybe it's not working. The more specific and articulate you are, the better the information can be used. There's generally always a tab about every event that comes along. So, again, talk about your situation. I saw some good feedback the other day on a different server. Please bring that to the player voice if you see that. With one of the events that's going on right now that gives the tickets, right? When you read that verbiage, that language, tickets, that makes you think of a store. But instead, in this case, it's orb fragments, right? It's orb fragments. So that might seem like a small detail, but somebody might not understand. Maybe they've been looking for the past 2 or 3 days for this store, or maybe they think they're just supposed to save the stuff to use them in the next event when they're supposed to be using it right now. So articulate that, right? People in Scopely, it's just like any other business. They move up the chain, they get promoted. So maybe the person who was handling that has moved on, and now there's a new person there, and we have to remind them. You got to remind them about your situation. They might not know what we're dealing with. So you got to tell them, right? People need reminders. It's okay. Maybe the event affected you in another way. You're a working person. You can only log into the game once or twice a day. Are you able to get through what would be considered the free to play portion of the event? Have you hit the area that now goes into the spender portion? Do you have questions on why the bracket was put there? Do you have another way to do it? Talk about that. Articulate that. That's information that can be used. If you have any more time, maybe you can, or you're just passionate about a certain portion of the game, there's focus groups. For example, I'm involved in 2 focus groups. I'm in the blue focus group, which has to do with the new player experience. So I want to help the new players. So if you are a new person, if you're a new player, join the voice. Ask to get involved with the new player focus group. Then we can talk about the experience, right? How's it going for you? How's the progression? Do you understand the game, right? Are there things that you don't understand? Right? We're not asking for the stuff that you see on YouTube, the best characters. That's not what we're saying. But do you understand the game? Are you getting it? Is it intuitive? When you look at the menus, what do they mean to you? Any of that stuff, come in and talk about it. You're the only one with your perspective. To make sure it's not overlooked, get involved in the discussion. I'm also involved with the red focus group. That one has to do with Alliance War. Sometimes it's PvP in general, Crucible, Arena, but it's mostly Alliance War. So the Mephisto changes that they had in War recently, what did you think about that? Are you able to articulate your argument there, whether this was good, bad, indifferent, what you felt was trying to be done versus how it was executed? Do you have anything to say about that? Same with the war changes concerning the offense bonus when it was taken away. They're trying to balance war a little bit more. Uh, can you think of a better way to do it? Now that we've seen some of the different methods that have been tried, can you think of a better way? How were you impacted by it? How did it affect you in your Alliance War bracket? Right? Things of that nature. And there's other focus groups as well. I don't, those are the only 2 that I know about. I know there's obviously more, but ask. Maybe there's a group about it, or maybe you can start it. Maybe you can found it. Maybe something that's more focused on raids or some other area of the game. Maybe you can found it. Bring people in, get those discussions going. These discussions can be captured and help to make the game better in the future. So we just want to keep in mind when individuals level charges against the council, they're attacking the community. They're not attacking the council. They're attacking the community because that's where the information comes from. The player voice is the community. And the more people that are involved, the more information can be passed on. I try to spend time in there, but I know there's a lot of people, a lot of dedicated people that spend a lot more time than me. A lot of people that are much more in touch with certain elements of the game, maybe be the economy, how the real world economy impacts the game, character kits, things of that nature. Whatever your expertise is, bring it to the table because that's how things get done, right? We talk about that a lot on the channel. Men and women, being a man, being a woman, being an adult, and getting things done. That's real life. See, there's a lot of people today who are entitled and they get angry when they don't get something for free. And we recognize that's part, not all, but that's part of the blowback from the Captain Britain thing. There's individuals that have legitimate complaints, and then there's people that are just professional complainers. There's nothing you can do about that. But if you're a worker and you want something to get done, here's an avenue for that to happen. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Hopefully, you're not being affected by the severe weather out there. If so, my heart goes out to you. Please make sure that you're taking care of yourself, your family, and you're looking out for the elderly in your community, the infirm in your community. There's a lot of people that can't protect themselves. Be their eyes and ears as well. Peace.